what I wanted to do, and what a lot of people wanted to do, was make the turn of the millennium into a turning point for humanity. It was a very good time to do it. And people were very worried about the day, January 1st, 2000. What would happen? Would it be a day of riots? Would planes fall out of the sky with Y2K, terrorism? Would there be Kool-Aid parties? What would happen? So as it turned out, it was one of the most peaceful days on record. And do you know why? Because a few years beforehand, a group of determined millennialists got 100 countries, 1,000 organizations, hundreds of mayors, 26 U.S. governors, and all kinds of leaders, spiritual leaders and so on around the world to say, hey, let's cool it, let's make that day one day in peace. And so it truly was. And then what we needed to do was make that a memory in humanity, that something that everybody in the world could be proud of. And so I started with Congressman Kucinich and Congressman Conyers and so on in 2000 to make this something that could put us all on the same page at the start of every year. I'm not going to go into all of the difficulties that we've encountered along the way. The 106th Congress passed it unanimously. The United Nations General Assembly passed it right after 9/11. The 109th Congress, again, because our president hadn't responded really, did it again. So we went through all of these difficulties trying to make it happen, and still now very important members of Congress have decided that this must happen, and it must happen soon. So I come to you today with the solution. I would ask you to join me in these words of invitation to President Obama, a man respected by a Congress that he's had a number of differences with. But here in this room, in this Capitol, we speak for a number of important members. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid. Now that guy's been busy, and yet he's taken time for Global Family Day. Senator Daniel Inouye, Congressman Conyers, Chairman Conyers, who is our co-founder, Dennis Kucinich, who's been a strong supporter and was our original supporter. And I wanted to note that Congressman Conyers and Congressman Kucinich have both had recent serious divisions with the president, but the respect remains, and these are the ones who are starting this organizing. And I'd hope that it brings some peace to Congress and some comedy back to Congress. So here's my letter. This is what I'd like all of you who gather here today and while we are having this conference to join in this letter. Dear Mr. President, we feel pride and hopefulness that you were recognized by the Nobel Committee and given a mandate, as it were, to bring the human family closer together. We respectfully ask that you accept the invitation of the 106th and 109th Congress, as well as that of the UN General Assembly, and many, many of your colleagues among world leaders and diplomats. The invitation is simple, Mr. President. Will you and your family participate in some way in Global Family Day activities on January 1, 2010? Share a meal with the needy, make a pledge, ring the Global Family bell over here. The ambassador, by the way, the ambassador from Papua New Guinea told me that if President Obama will ring that bell, all of the Pacific Island nations will drum in response. Can you just imagine? Can you feel that? So, what we want, let's make this invitation universal. Mr. President, will you invite your fellow First Families to participate in some way? Perhaps just a greeting or a statement, a brief news conference, the sharing of a meal, or the ringing of a bell, something to let the rest of the world know that the world's leaders are families first and foremost. They are first families for family first. And they all want to improve human relations. We all want a world in which our kids can grow up safely. Let many new connections and friendships be made on Global Family Day 2010, and new traditions begin. It's not too late for the turn of the millennium to become a turning point for humanity. I think the children of the world are trying to tell us this. Let us turn to our families for strength, yours for a safer world and a reconciliation of civilizations. Okay, that's my letter. I couldn't resist a P.S. I always put a P.S. on every letter. So it says, we looked up the origin of the words global and family. Global comes from glebus and family from familis. And this is from this to make up the new word global family. When you put it together, it comes out to mean a group of related people on a lump of earth. That's all we are, Mr. President. It means we must care for that lump of earth and for each other if we want to survive. We must develop values we all can share. Global family values. Thank you very much.
I'm so happy that we're here today doing something that to a lot of people might seem to be symbolic. I happen to believe that it has much deeper consequences than just another day or another announcement of some well-meaning activity. For all of my career, I've always believed that the importance of the global relationship of all of us, nations to nation and people to people, has not significantly been examined or acted upon. And thanks to Linda Grover, who brought this matter to my attention years ago, we've grown, we've internationalized, we've reached out to young people, and now we have the observance being made not only in our capital, but in the states of our very great country, but now throughout parts of the world. And so I'm elated about how we are bringing this celebration into fruition for January 1, 2010. For me, it's fun. I sometimes think I demean a subject when I say I like doing it reunited with a lot of people who were fighting apartheid 25 years ago. And South Africa has changed. The South African embassy has changed. And now we have a great relationship. Celebrating that 25th anniversary, and who agreed to join with us in this great global day of celebration, are two of my dearest friends, Harry Belafonte, who was advisor and supporter of Dr. Martin Luther King when he was just starting out, and Danny Glover, who is in many respects a protege of Harry Belafonte. Both of these great performers have agreed to join with us in our effort to increase an awareness and an enjoyment of people, not just in the United States, but all over the planet.